Hi, my name is Michael Nunneley, and welcome to Omen Comics. Today we're going to be doing kind of an update on the art of making comics. Kind of almost, this is what goes on after you make the comic kind of a thing. Not sure how long this series will be, but there should be at least a couple of videos in this series, because I'm learning a lot since I actually made Omen Comics a business, and there's a lot involved in that, and then learning how to get the business to be self-sustaining so that I'm not constantly losing money. I learned a lot in just the last few months, and well, quite frankly, it was rather frustrating to have to figure this stuff out for myself and have to ask other people 6 million questions because I had no idea what was going on or what I was supposed to do or what all was involved. There's some of this stuff that I just find ludicrous, but it is still required as a part of the process. So I'm hoping, I can share this stuff with you, and then when you get into getting serious about making your comics, then maybe this information will help you. Now the general principle of the art of making comics was principle is a bad word. The general idea of the art of making comics was you get from the idea to getting it onto the comic book shelf, the comic book store bookshelf or whatever. Well, I have since learned that that is basically a lost cause for an independent creator getting it into the shelves of local comic book shops. The reason being, you have to recover the printing cost of each book in your sale, in how much you're charging for the book, and then you have to add a little bit. I went up I think about $1 and a half above the printing cost for my comics. But when you sell to a comic book shop, the standard price that they get off of the cover price is 45%. That means that you lose, like for instance, when I sold my comics to the shops and I had to give them 45% off, I not only didn't make my printing, it cut into my printing costs so that I was paying again for the book, and it completely took away any profit that I had, which eliminates any plausibility of it being self-sustaining. I mean, I got into comics because I love making comics, and it's something I wanted to do since I was 12, right? But the fact is that it has to be a business too. Otherwise, it's just not sustainable. It costs entirely too much money to make comics. You gotta do stuff to make it so it's at least sustaining itself. Because I mean, I'll tell you right now, I am thousands of dollars in debt from trying to get stuff going without knowing all this stuff in advance. So again, I hope this stuff helps you. So with getting it into the comic book shops can be helpful. I mean, obviously a thing you're going to want is new readers, and getting it into comic book shops can do that, assuming that, you know, people pick them up there. Um, but what I have found is that I've researched all the different ways to sell comics, either digitally online or physically in shops or whatever. And the only way that you can actually get all of the money from the sale is at a convention. That is just flat out the only way you can do it. Everybody else wants a cut of it if you try to do it any other way. And when you're trying to keep your price low of your comics, everybody getting a cut of that is just going to make it harder. So conventions are really going to be the only way that can be done. Because when you're at a convention, you got your own POS system, you got your own cash drawer, you set the prices of your comics, and you're selling them directly. So you're not having to pay somebody for shelf space or for selling your book for you. You're doing it yourself. And you got a better shot at selling them when you can sell them yourself too. In a comic book shop, you know, somebody has to see it and want to check it out and, you know, open it up, and then they gotta, you know, am I going to take a chance on this unknown kind of an idea? So, I mean, while sales clearly happen that way, I'm not saying that they don't. You have a better chance when you can be there to explain your story and talk about it and get to know the fans a little bit. I have managed to sell the last signing I did, and this is granted because I was there in person. I was able to sell dark fantasy superhero comics to like a 70-year-old lady, and she actually wanted to. I mean, I told her about the quality and, you know, how many pages there are and what kind of stories there are and everything, and she would have never ever even looked towards the comic book shelf in this shop. It's just not something she would have done. But because I was there in person, and she wanted to come over and see, you know, what, oh, there's a signing, what's going on here, right? And so she came over to look, and I got to talk to her about it, and she bought a couple of my comics. That's the power of being there in person to sell your books. So I guess the main point of this this video is that we're not looking for comic book shops anymore. Comic book shops can help get people to recognize you at conventions, but that is about their only value. You literally got to print millions of copies. I think I don't know what the secret is. I don't know how DC and Marvel sell comics to comic book shops and make any money. I just don't see how that's possible. But it for you just from my research, you have to go to the conventions. It's better for selling. It's better for profit. And when that steady flow of going to these conventions regularly starts happening, then you can start building up growth in your business. And when you get growth in your business, that's when we get to the stuff we're going to talk about next, and that is actually making your business an actual business. So that'll be the next video. You guys have a good one, and I hope this helped. Live long and prosper, guys.